Okay, hello all you crazy people out there. My name is Dragonite, and I need to stop trying to describe what I'm doing because this is just something else. Welcome to You Are Jeff Bezos. This is a game of some sort on itch.io that somebody made recently, or I think it was recently. I found it recently. And it's basically a game where you try to spend $156 billion because that's how much money Jeff Bezos has, and that number is just nonsensical. If you happen to be a huge fan of Amazon.com, you may not find this game as funny as I do, fair warning, but I'm going to take the risk that I'm going to piss off a few people and play this anyway. So, when you wake up this morning from your unsettling dreams, you find yourself changed in your bed into a monstrous vermin. It's not I forgot what the guy's name in Kafka, the Metamorphosis was, but that's what it sounds like. You are Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos' employees are now your employees. His money is now your money. Nothing you say or do will convince anyone that you are not Jeff Bezos, even his closest friends and family. What do you do? So I should say, I have played this game before, when I first found it a couple days ago, and I've been informed that there are multiple endings, so I'm going to try and not trigger the same ending that I got the first time. I don't really know what any of them involve. I think a couple of them involve Elon Musk, but we'll see. So what do? I go to the bathroom. I scream and sob with terror over this unnatural event. I spend all of his money. The first time I chose to go to the bathroom, and that just gave me some like flavor text, and I'm gonna scream and sob. All right, you spend some time howling and tearing at your flesh with your unfamiliar hands. It doesn't do any good. You are still just Bezos. You are still Jeff Bezos. How do I end this? I'm no expert, but you may find a way back to your real body if you spend all of Jeff Bezos' money, thus disintegrating his physical form. That does not make any sense. That makes perfect sense. Fine, but how do I spend it? That doesn't make any sense. Look, by waking up in the body of a billionaire doesn't make much sense either, but this is what we have to work with. Believe me, it's not too pleasant from this end either. Anyway, even if spending all of Jeff Bezos' money doesn't get you back to where you're supposed to be, you'll still be the hero who spent all of Jeff Bezos' money. Oh boy, but there are smarter ways I could use But there are smarter ways I could use Jeff Bezos' money. I could invest it. No! Ignore this TD Ameritrade link in the browser up here. You cannot invest it, keep it, or earn more of it. You can only spend it. Alright, so there's some politicsy stuff going on here. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes. But that's a really inefficient way to use wealth. Sure. It's also true that no billionaire just sits on a giant pile of cash. Most of Bezos' wealth is abstracted into stocks, investments, and so forth. But that's not the scope of the simulation. This simulation is about spending all of Jeff Bezos' money. Well, alright. Jeff Bezos' current wealth is displayed on the left. That would be this number here. Below are some things you might consider spending it on. Alright, so the first time I played this, I went from top to bottom with knocking off the bigger numbers first. So this time I'm going to see what happens if I go from bottom to top. So let's start with ending homelessness in the United States, which is a measly $20 billion. You eliminate homelessness in the United States. Every single person living in the US now has the guarantee of a roof over their head. It costs you $20 billion, or a trivial 12.8% of your starting net worth. You still have $136 billion. At least I think that's a billion. That's 9 zeros. That's a lot. I'll soon change that. Alright, you get a phone call from your personal line from your main financial advisor. Apparently distressed. You ignore it. What else? This wasn't here before. Alright, good job decimating a rich man's wealth so far, by the way. You've gone from $156 billion to a mere $136 billion in a few clicks of a button. If only you could manufacture guillotines this easily. That is a reference to something, and I have no idea what it is.
Hey.
Let's say pay back taxes to the EU, because that's a minuscule $293 million. You pay back Amazon's oh, that was just Amazon's taxes, alright. I was picturing like the national debt for some reason, which is a slightly bigger number. You pay back Amazon's back taxes to the European Union, a trivial $293 million, or £263,677,000. That's enough to host Eurovision 8 times. Hey. Can't beat Lordy. I have no idea what that is either. Okay, what next? Probably some Eurovision thing. Let's abolish the Electoral College, because that's also a measly $380 million. Oh! This is different. Fox News unexpectedly goes off air, citing existential difficulties. Because, you know, as you do. Time names you its Person of the Year. You decline the fair weather bullshit. Next step, abolishing the Electoral College, for whatever number I said that was earlier. Strictly speaking, the only thing necessary to abolish the United States electoral I need to just like slow down this entire video by 10% because that's how fast I talk. Abolish the United States Electoral College is the vote and ratification of 3/4 of the Union, or 38 states. And politicians are very cheap to purchase. An average Senate seat costs $10 million, but you can win over sitting senators for less than that. The House is a trickier proposition thanks to the sheer numbers, but all you really need to do is make the whole thing worth. But all you really need to do to make the whole thing work is convince convince Republicans that abolishing the slavery era system and transitioning to a popular vote for major elections would totally own the libs. Sorry, not sorry, Alexander Hamilton. Probably Alexander Hamilton. I don't know United States history nearly as well as you would expect me to. The squatter in the White House goes on an unhinged Twitter rant. I wonder who that could be. Branding you a communist, Democrat, fascist with small genitals who is ruining the economy. I'm okay. Who is ruining the economy, and I'm going to go on record saying that if somebody called me that, I would be delighted. He calls for your execution. Support 10,000 artists and residents for 4 years each, which is $2 billion, which is more than the other numbers, is the next thing that we're going to do. Actually, funding NASA for a year actually sounds like quite a lot of fun. Let's do that instead. I'll get back to the other one later. Rather than squander your money on private space vanities, you put a solid $20 billion towards astronautics equal to NASA's annual budget. Mitch McConnell calls you, thanking you for saving Congress the trouble of paying for that society of eggheads for a year. This just keeps getting better and better. You make very clear that $20 billion is in addition to its federal allotment, and any attempt on Congress's end to slash the budget next year will mean all Congress people are banned forever from your private space cruises. This is a lie, of course. You've already dismantled your private space agency, and once Grimes convinces Elon it's 420 Blaze It Millennial thing to do, he'll follow suit as well. Excellent. Boldly going forward because we can't find reverse. Exciting. Bill and Melinda Gates sent a kind yet concerning greeting card asking if perhaps you would like a little advice on how to spend money on poors but in a more moderate way. You burn it. Nice. Did you hear something? We'll get back to the other things in a minute. A loud crack fills the room as finally your frantic family members and several bodyguards manage to break down the door to your bedroom. A few of your burlier relatives pin you down and take away your laptop. Please, Uncle Bezos, begs a doe-eyed child who is probably actually not your nibbling. Crumbly, gibbly tears falling down their cheeks as you are tied to a chair. You left us with a mere $115,327,000,000. There's no dollar sign in front of that. Although I guess there's the word dollars after it. Mother says we'll never be so destitute if you don't cease your wretched spending. Do Jeff Bezos' extended family speak like Dickens characters? They do here. What do you say to the child? Sit them down and patiently explain why being a billionaire is immortal, or show them Twitter, they'll just end up as socialists and it'll take less effort on your end. When given the choice, I always err on the side of laziness, so let's take the second option. You'd love to show the child Twitter on your own, but as tied up as you are, you're left with pointing towards the nearest unattended phone with your big toe. You give your younger relative a list of accounts to follow. Within 30 minutes, they are an expert on both the Communist Manifesto and pro wrestling. My work here is done. Go back to spending Jeff Bezos' money. Excellent. Oh, this is entirely different options, so I don't get to do the other things. You put all the young blood you've injected into yourself to use and flex your arms as hard as you can. The ropes binding your chair literally burst into so many shreds of hemp. You stand using a leg of the chair to peep back several bodyguards in distraught adult airs. With your mouth open, you take it, fleeing into the city streets armed with only your bathrobe, a phone, and a small laptop. After escaping onto the subway, you quickly spare a glance at your bank balance and find it too large for your tastes. Yeah, it's still 12 digits long, I think that is. Let's fix that. Flint Water Crisis is apparently the cheapest option, and I said I'd do that, but video games... How can you not fund video games? Minus $100 million. Let's be real, there are two kinds of independent games. The ones made by former AAA devs, which often run into the millions and usually require outside investment, and stuff like this built in twine. So postulating that you can fund 100 indie games for $1 million each is some wild-ass math. But let's say you find, 10 of those bigger games by industry 10 of those games by industry veterans, and use the rest to support 200 small indies. Okay, so that's 300 indie games, but whatever. Or maybe you don't find any Kickstarter games and instead donate every last cent to your favorite avant-garde glitch girl. Whatever you want, babe. It's Jeff Bezos money. Take that, Indiepocalypse. Yeah, whatever that is. That's probably like talking about No Man's Sky or something. You hole up in a dimly lit cafe where nobody will question why Jeff Bezos is here in his bathrobe working on a laptop. To ensure their silence, you pay the college educations of 3 baristas on duty, minus $303,000, which is like nothing. You pay tip as well, because labor should be adequately compensated regardless of whether a service worker goes the extra mile for you, so that's another $200. Alright, so now let's fix the Flint water crisis, which is only $55 million. I expected it to be bigger, considering how, like, that's the entire Flint River, apparently, but let's go with what the game says. You completely renovate the deteriorated water system of Flint, Michigan, freeing its residents from the corporate I should just get like Microsoft Stamps to do this narration because I can't. From corporate serfdom to Nesty. I think the L is silent. It sets you back all of $55 million, or less than the cost of a single SpaceX rocket. Literally, this should have happened years ago already. Weird, right? A barista with a lip ring and an whatever that is, something Furiosa tattoo brings you a second coffee. They tell you that what you're doing now doesn't make up for the years that you, Jeff Bezos, have spent exploiting your workers and destroying rival businesses. And I don't know when I'm going to be posting this video, but I think actually it was just a couple days ago. Jeff Bezos did announce that the new Amazon minimum wage is $15 an hour. And I don't know if this game was made before or after that announcement was happening. And I don't know if the text would be different if it was made after that, because that was actually kind of nice of Amazon, uncharacteristically. Anyway, that's just a bit of a current events aside. You agree wholeheartedly, so since it's not like they'll believe you if you explain that you're just a rando stuck in Jeff Bezos' gross vampire body. All right, next, pay off just 1,000 graduate students' student loans. And the fact that that is just 1,000 should tell you how big the student loan crisis is in the United States. Let's go with that. The average graduate student has $57,600 in loan debt, which is 3 significant digits, and it goes down to the hundredth place. Okay. Your friends are anything but average, of course, but you also probably don't have 1,000 of them. So $57.6 million should cover you either way, plus a few hundred strangers. All right. I know what this text on the screen says, I promise. You spend any leftovers organizing a game studies conference, including covering transportation and hotel expenses for all speakers. Todd Harper does the opening keynote, and Maddie Bryce oversees the wine tasting session. And I don't know who either of these people are, or who either of these people are like parodies of, and I should feel bad. No one speaks over the age of 45. That's great. Sirens outside. You've learned from the TV that there is a warrant out for your arrest for suspicion of fraud, which under the circumstances seems hilarious. Your barista allies shutter the blinds of the already darkened coffee shop. They decided to switch off the news and put on anime instead. They have good taste. Reboot Mythbusters, $60 million. This isn't necessarily a good use of Jeff Bezos' money, but you really like the older season of Mythbusters that were basically Jackass for nerds. The golden era of Adam Savage burning off his eyebrows and sticking his mouth into vacuum motors. You reboot the series for a limited one-run season with the original cast to air commercial-free and subscription-free on a bespoke online streaming service. The show tests all the myths that were originally vetoed because of corporate meddling, like RFIDs and credit cards and hunting ducks with pumpkins, which I suppose would hurt them, in theory. Anything left over from the $60 million budget will go towards reproducing that one time the Mythbusters blew up a cement truck with dynamite, now properly captured on a high-speed camera. Science! I like science. One of the baristas has given you away. It was an accident. They left the location data on while tweeting the Bezos' Bay hashtag. Before you know it, you have the entire local police force out the cafe's front door. You scan your list for something quick to spend some of Jeff Bezos' money on while the baristas arrange for your escape through the back. Alright, you can fund 10 animal rescues for 4 years. You can build 10 new public libraries for a little bit less money. Or there's no time. What do I want to do? Neither is going to make a dent in this number, so I'm just going to say there's no time because I don't feel like doing more reading than I have to. You and your barista accomplices race through the city's back streets, cannily avoiding the police blockades and the Amazon locker locations. Twice you were nearly cut down by the weaponized delivery drones, but you managed to dive out of their firing range just in time. The drones record you as KIA, I assume that's killed in action, in their online tracking system anyway, thus buying you a few precious minutes. Huddled behind a dumpster, you find the barista with the lip ring has sustained a deep cut to their arm. You can use your cleanest $100 bills to dress the wound, which will set you back $100 bills. Or you can promise to pay the barista's hospital bills if it gets infected. I would say it doesn't matter because neither of them are going to really make an effect on this number either. But the first one is funnier, so let's go with it. You literally throw money at the problem and tape together 10 printed fresh $100 bills end to end, using them as a makeshift bandage around the barista's wound. They grimace. It's not a great way to dress a cut, but it's probably better than nothing, and they appreciate the fact that you're trying, at least. Oh. I tried. Make a break for the sewers. It's no use. Sewers aren't actually all that spacious, and also manhole covers are really heavy. The police catch up to you while swearing and nursing your stubbed toe. Maybe you should have run out of your luxury apartment wearing something sturdier than slippers. You and your 3 barista allies are arrested on the spot. Oh. You and your college-age accomplices are each charged with resisting arrest, the most fascist bullshit charge. Additionally, you are charged with one count of destabilizing capitalism. Well, I only spent like $50 billion. That's nothing. That's like a third of what I could have spent. I think it was actually $40 billion because I started out with 156. While the 3 baristas are charged with pirating anime. Of all things, you know. Let's bribe the cops to let the baristas go for $1 million, or you could pay bail for the baristas and everyone else in the city's jail system for $227 million. You pay the cash bail for your 3 coffee-making accomplices, as well as the entire jail population of the city, about 12,000 people. The police, catching wise, put your own bail at an absolutely unheard of $114,827,095,800. There's no way anybody would pay that. The first time I played this, I mentioned that I played this before and I got one ending. The first time I played this, I paid the bail and I got the neutral ending because apparently you're supposed to spend Jeff Bezos' money wisely, which paying the bail apparently didn't qualify as. So this time, let's see what happens if I say demand to see your lawyer. Because you are white and wealthy, the law works differently for you. Funny. You are granted a phone call to your lawyer. Unfortunately, you don't know the number of Jeff Bezos' lawyer or even who they are. You realize that if you're going to do anything with this one phone call, it should be something to try and get rid of as much of your remaining wealth as possible. What do you spend Jeff Bezos' money on? All right, let's pay for your anime. Okay. Create an endowment for artists and residents. Pay all your Amazon employees a bonus. Donate everything to the National Education Association. Pay off as much as you can of your taxes, which is probably going to be the biggest number. And donate all you have left towards rebuilding Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is probably the most, generous thing to do, obviously. But pay off your taxes is probably going to be a bigger number because that's how much money Jeff Bezos has. So let's click on that one. You spend your remaining wealth on paying your taxes. Not only do you have enough to cover everything you actually owe, based on some very quick and dirty math, but you decide to just go ahead and give the federal government everything else while you're at it. Alright, so either of them are going to end up giving away your money. You know, the way that was worded, I probably should have figured that out before I clicked on it. Anyway, you decide to just go ahead and give the federal government everything else you owe while you're at it. Nothing about state taxes, though. And as loathsome as it may seem to pay taxes in this kleptocracy, the majority of tax collected still goes towards social services, so for whatever peace of mind that's worth. After finishing your phone call, you return quietly to your cell. If Bezos' Bay is still trending on Twitter, you're sure someone is raising money for your legal fees right now, but you absolutely refuse to use it. There's nothing more that you can do for now. Wait. You wait. There's a little else to do. You sit and contemplate your admittedly brief existence as Jeff Bezos. The unimaginable wealth you struggle to spend. The problems that lay outside even your ability to fix it. Was it really worth anything at all to rid the world of one man's billions? Was this really the best thing you could do? With this thought in your head, you lie down on your hard jail bunk and slowly you drift off to sleep. You wake up this morning from your unsettling dreams and you find yourself changed in your bed into monstrous vermin. You are Elon Musk. Good lord, Elon Musk did appear. He actually did appear in the neutral ending that I got, but he just sort of ran into Jeff Bezos, and here you turn into him. Good god. Alright, what's this say? True end. Alright, so there's the credits. Written by Chris Ligman and Twine 2. Special thanks to Dan Cox and the Twine Cookbook. This game draws design inspiration from Zoe Quinn's Depression Quest and Squinky's Queen's Quest 7. Alright, this is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, locales, and incidents are either products of the author's imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. Not to be treated as a serious resource for money, numbers, or financial advice if you are indeed Jeff Bezos. Let's be honest, this game is mostly just a thought experiment. A lot of the numbers here are totally fake, based on cursory internet searches, and should be taken with a grain of salt. If you want to see where those numbers come from, there's sort of a works cited page. Oh, this is actually I had MLA drilled into my brain last summer because of writing classes, and I think this is actually MLA or something similar, so that's kind of neat. Anyway, back to start. If you want to play again and get a different ending, you can do that. I am not going to do that because I've been recording for 22 minutes, and that's a long time. If you people watching this want to play this game because it's hilarious and amazing and everything else, diarychris.hio/YouAreJeffBezos. I'll put a link in the description and maybe like a pinned comment or something too. But for now, I hope you all enjoy that. There is some comments down here which is kind of funny. It appears that most of them are fairly recent, so I'm not actually sure when this game was made. Probably not too long ago. My name is Dragonite. I hope you'll enjoy this, and I will see you all later.